All right, to begin our warm-up, you're going to start with some deep breathing. If you have ever been a client of mine for personal training or online coaching, you know that we always start our warm-ups with deep breathing. It's a really nice segue from your regular life into your workout. I talk about this more elsewhere, but workouts are a stressor. This is not necessarily a bad thing, but when we combine it with all the stress in our regular lives, that's when it becomes negative. So we're going to intentionally create some separation, starting with deep breathing. If you happen to have an ottoman or a chair available that you can prop your legs up onto, like so, then go ahead and get it. If not, you can just bend your knees and keep your feet flat on the ground. That's fine. Make sure your hips are as close to underneath your knees as you can. And as you lay down, bring your shoulders down away from your ears and flatten out your back into the low back into the ground. If you want to, you can have a hand on your belly, a hand on your chest, your choice. You also have 2 hands on the side if you prefer. I like to close my eyes to kind of bring my attention inward here. And then you're just going to spend about 1 minute breathing at your own pace. Nice deep inhales and exhales. Like everything we do in a training program, this is practice. So if this is hard, that's very normal. Over time, with more practice, it will get easier. But you want to think about inhaling 360 degrees around through your diaphragm, and that includes bringing your ribs out, breathing through the back, as well as through the belly. Making sure we exhale everything out with each rep. 1 minute of deep breathing, and then you can move on to the next step in your warm-up. Next up in the warm-up is some squat stand-up with a twist. If you've been doing the morning movement patterns, the cat-cow and squat stand-up, then you are pretty familiar with the basics of this movement already. So we're just going to build on that. So you're going to get into a squat stance, which I always like to say is different for everybody, and your workout squat stance may be different from your first thing in the morning squat stance too, because we're always moving. So about shoulder width apart, toes pointed out, making sure that your heels are on the ground. Otherwise, you can kind of figure out what works best for you. Hips are going to go back and down. Elbows on the inside of the knees here. Nice, long, flat back. Look up. And then exhale, stretch it out. This is the regular squat stand-up. And then here at the bottom, you're going to add a twist. So push your elbow into the knee, keeping the heel down. And rotate, following that path with your eyes. And then switch. Try and keep the hips low here if you can. And heels down. Hips low, heels down. And then stand it up. Stretch it out. Let the head hang here. Get a good stretch in the back of the legs. And then pull back down. Twist. You can do 5 total of these. So that's 5 twists on each side. And 5 stand-ups, if you will. Turn to the side here. And then when you're done, stand up carefully so you don't get too dizzy. Next up, we have some tall kneeling band pull-aparts. So tall kneeling means they're going to be in this position right here, where you have both knees down below your hips, and you have a nice straight line from your shoulders all the way down to your knees. So you'll make sure you're not going to arch through your back. No booty pop in here. And also not flare through your ribs, okay? Nice straight line. Ribs are going to stay over hips. This will involve a little bit of glute squeeze, a little bit of quad action here, as well as the abdominals. We like to call it sneaky core work. Grab a lightweight band. 1 moment, I have a siren going by. Reality of New York City. All right, grab a lightweight band. Make sure that there's plenty of space there so it's not too tight. Shoulders down away from the ears. Make sure that you keep your wrists straight as you pull the band apart. And bring your arms out to the side like a T. And forward again. Exhale, pull it apart. Inhale, forward. Exhale, apart. Inhale, forward. Notice I'm not moving through my torso. It's staying nice and stable. That's the core work right there. The movement is coming from the shoulders. Since you're warming up still, there's no need for it to be very tight, but if you want to have more resistance, just bring your hands in a little bit closer to make it tighter. And of course, conversely, if it's too tight, just bring your hands out wider. 10 total band pull-aparts. Okay, next up we have some monster band walks. If you have a mini band, which is this kind, this will work. Or if you have a super band, which is the big kind like this one, this will also work. I'll show you both variations. For the mini band variation, you're going to put the band right over your midfoot, like so. And then you're going to bring your feet out wide. You're going to keep them that way the whole time so that you always have tension in the band. You don't want to have it too soft, okay? So keep it tight. Your feet should be parallel, toes pointing straight ahead, or maybe even a little bit of heels out. You do not want toes out like this, okay? This is what we're looking for right here. And you're going to kind of squat down into it, and you're going to lift and step. If you have only like a short amount of space like I do, you can take a couple steps each direction. If you have more space, feel free to go more in one way. 15 steps per side. Notice that my toes are still pointing straight ahead, and I'm not dragging my feet, okay? You're lifting and stepping. All right, that's the mini band variation. Similarly, if you have a super band, you're going to step over it. Feet about shoulder width apart again. Cross the band over itself into an X, nice and low. Stand up first, and then kind of squat down into it. I'll show from the side on this one. Same principles apply. Toes pointing straight ahead. Watch your heels. Always lead with the heel, so you're not going to turn into sort of like a little duck walk here. Okay? Lift and step. Lift and step. 15 in each direction. If you have to go like a few steps in each direction and then go back and forth, that's totally fine. You can accumulate 15. By the end, you should really be feeling this area, the side booty, burning. All right, now we're going to move into a plank. If you prefer a tall plank, like where your arms are completely straight and your palms are below your shoulders, feel free to do that. However, I'm going to demonstrate a forearm plank. So forearms are parallel, elbows are right below your shoulders, and your body's in a nice straight line. You're going to tuck your pelvis a little bit, push through your heels, push the ground away through your palms, and breathe. If you're keeping everything nice and tight in a line, you should be shaking already. We have 30 seconds here. Breathe as best you can while maintaining that rigidity through your torso. Either look straight down or just slightly ahead. No need to look all the way up. We don't need to straighten our neck here. Hang in there a little bit longer. And rest. Okay, now we're going to move into a side plank. If you are more of a beginner, you may want to start with your knees bent and your shins staying on the ground, like so. If you're more advanced, you can do legs fully extended. Either way, your hips should be stacked, feet should be stacked, elbow underneath your shoulder, and stay lifted through this lower hip. I also like to put my arm up towards the sky so I make sure that I have good alignment here, but that's up to you. 30 seconds on each side. If you need to, you can bring your top leg in front for a bit of support. And breathe while you're here, maintaining that alignment the whole time. Squeezing your glute, especially this one right here. Okay, last but not least for your warm-up, it's going to be a little bit of cardio just to get the blood flowing. We're going to do 1 minute of cardio of choice. So you can either do a quick run around the block, some stair runs maybe, some jump rope, and just maybe some bodyweight things like, jumping jacks or running in place, whatever feels good to you. You can also maybe do some burpee variations if you feel so inclined. Whatever you do, you're not trying to go all out here. This is not actually like your conditioning work. Just trying to get the blood flowing for about 1 minute, so keep the pace pretty light and easy here.